Here's my review of Moana 2. Now, this is a movie I feel like has been very divisive online. I've seen a lot of people hating on this movie, and I will say right off the bat, this movie is not as good as Moana 1. It is not as good as the first one. Visually, it's breathtaking. But one of the things that problems people have with this movie is this was originally supposed to be a Disney Plus show, and then it got transformed into a movie. And you could, I wouldn't really, some people say you could tell, but I'm like, I mean, you could kind of tell there are so many different characters. You are probably like, oh, that probably should have been fleshed out more. And there are a lot of different characters on this journey. And for the most part, they're very fun, enjoyable characters to be around. Like this movie, I would say, like I said, people are calling it a terrible movie. I don't think it's a terrible. I think it's good. It's just not great, and it's just not as good as the first one. But it's still a solid time with fun characters, and we get to see. One thing I liked about this movie is how there's feels like time has actually passed. I mean, it's been so long since the first movie, and now Moana has a little sister, and I think it just kind of it's stuff like that I like, that it just adds to the world, that just makes it feel like, okay, at least they're doing more stuff with it. At least we have a reason to go back, a reason for this movie to exist, other than just repeating the same stuff. Like, we have more characters, and that's what I liked. And like I said, just the visuals with the water are just so gorgeous. Like, I love when Moana is walking through the water, showing her sister like her cool like water powers. It is so cool. It is great. And like, this movie is just, like I said, it's breathtaking. Breathtaking. Like, this water just visually looks fantastic. Every single scene of this movie is gorgeous. But what holds it back is, I'd say, the story and characters are just not as strong. They're still good, but they're just, if the first movie was up here, this movie's like here. Which still is, it's not like it's down here. It's just it's a decent drop off. But it's still a solid, fun movie. And just seeing more of just Maui and Moana's interactions is just very fun to see. I think that this movie still has a lot going for it. It is still very funny. I still really like Maui. Just seeing just all the fun he has with his tattoos is just great. And there's still, like I said, a lot going for it. I think that, okay, well, one thing that I think significantly stands out that is significantly worse than this movie, even it's not bad, but it's just so noticeable, is the music. The music is not nearly as good. Lin-Manuel Miranda did not return for this movie, and it shows. The music, it's still solid, but like, I literally watched this movie last night. I can't really remember any of the songs. They're not really super memorable, but I still remember "You're Welcome" and like "Shiny." There's still so many memorable songs from the first one, "Where You Are," but here there's just not that memorable of songs. And I hope that if they do a third one, and I'm pretty sure they're going to, I hope they definitely bring Lin-Manuel Miranda back, because that's one thing I think that kind of made this movie just not as good, is just the music was just not nearly as good. And as for the villain, I think that she's not particularly memorable too, although her design I think is great. And that's one of the things I love about these movies, is just seeing this like whole culture, seeing the clothing, the tattoos, the necklaces, the jewelry is so beautiful. And I love how bat-like she is, from the way she walks to the way she, like, sometimes she'll walk upside down, or like even just the way she'll use like her cape as like almost shows like wings. It just looks, I think, fantastic. But in terms of personality, she's just not nearly there. I don't think it's not as good as Tamatoa, I believe, is the villain for the first movie. And like I said, though, it's still a solid movie. So yeah, if you just want to see more of these characters, more of Maui, more of Moana, and even just more of just the other characters, got Pua, and I always forget the chicken's name. Hey Hey, the chicken, yeah. And if you just want to see more of those characters, you're going to get that. And there is more good than bad to this movie. But I think one just the thing that holds it back is there are so many people who love that first Moana. And I think that like I really like it. I don't absolutely love it like everyone else, but I think that if you are one of those people, you will notice the drop in quality. I mean, I'm not even the biggest fan of Moana, and I still noticed it. So yeah, I would still say that this movie is solid. I still think that it is good, just not great. And that's what's kind of unfortunate about this movie. I still think though, like I said, just the visuals alone, when just every scene is just so visually gorgeous and the water is so beautiful. I would still say I would definitely recommend checking it out. There's still a lot of fun to be had here. There's still some very funny moments. The characters are still charming as ever. I still love Maui as a character. I love Moana as a character, and I just love all of these characters. But I think if they do a third one, I think it just needs a stronger plot, and I think the songs just got to be better. Even though I think that everything here was good, but it just wasn't great, and that's what's unfortunate. So yeah, if you want, I definitely think that if you are interested in this movie, you should still check it out. It is good, but it's just not great. But I would still give it a thumbs up. I still thought it was very solid, and I still had a very fun time with this movie.